to the GESI Integration Tool. In this brief video, we will introduce the use and purpose of the GESI Integration Tool, provide a quick overview of the tool's components, and end the video with a quick practice to illustrate the use of the tool. The tool is designed to support you as you continue to integrate gender equity and social inclusion considerations throughout the lifecycle of your projects. The tool serves as a means of self-reflection to help you reflect on where you are in terms of gender equity and social inclusion, or GESI, integration in your work, while also providing the space to think about how you can advance GESI in your projects to make them more accommodating and transformative. The tool is interactive. You can download the tool and fill in the different sections and then continue to edit it throughout the life cycle of each of your projects. The tool can be opened in any web browser. However, we recommend you download the free software Adobe Acrobat Reader. When you open the tool, the first page you see is the cover page. It has a Get Started button at the bottom. Once we click the Get Started button, we are redirected to the table of contents, or the home page. You will notice on the left of the home page a blue navigation panel, where the arrows on the bottom can be used to advance to the next page. You can also click on any of the sections on this panel to navigate directly to that section. And if you ever want to come back to this table of contents or home page, you can click on the image of the house at the top. The tool has 5 sections. The introduction page, which provides some important information about how to use and adjust the view of the tool to suit your needs. The next section is the GESI Continuum, followed by the GESI Integration Checklist, then a page where we have shared additional resources related to GESI, and finally, a glossary of some key GESI terms used throughout the tool. Now let's go through 2 of the most important sections, the GESI Continuum and the GESI Integration Checklist. Starting with the GESI Continuum section. If you recall, in our first GESI workshop on key GESI principles, we went over the GESI Continuum as a tool that can help us determine where we are on our GESI integration journey, determining where our projects lie within the spectrum from GESI unaware to GESI aware, so we can determine where we need to or want to go. This first page provides an overview of the GESI Continuum, including key definitions. The next page shows the continuum itself, where we see that programming can be GESI unaware or GESI aware. GESI unaware programming is when projects and programs do not examine harmful power dynamics, inequalities, and inequities. These are completely ignored. While GESI aware projects and programs examine and understand the power dynamics, norms, inequalities, and inequities that exist. There are 3 categories that GESI aware projects can fall under: exploitative, accommodating, or transformative. GESI exploitative programming is when projects and programs are those which either intentionally or unintentionally reinforce or take advantage of GESI inequalities and inequities. This approach is harmful and expands the gaps that already exist. We want to ensure that our projects and programs are never harmful or exploitative. GESI accommodating projects and programs acknowledge and are mindful of GESI inequalities and inequities, but work around them. They do not challenge the GESI inequalities and inequities and do not attempt to address the systems which perpetuate them. GESI transformative projects and programs seek to challenge and dismantle systems and structures which perpetuate GESI inequalities and inequities. Once we determine where we are on this spectrum, we know where we can go. The next section, the GESI Integration Checklist, incorporates these components of the GESI Continuum to help us advance along the GESI Continuum spectrum. The GESI Integration Checklist is a checklist of various items for consideration or steps that can be taken to integrate GESI at each stage of a project cycle. This first page provides an introduction to the checklist and how to complete it. The next page provides the definitions of 2 key terms that you will see throughout the checklist and which are important to keep in mind. The first term is gender equity and social inclusion, or GESI, which you're already familiar with, and it is what we are working towards to address unequal power relations and ensure equal rights, opportunity, and respect. And when you see the second term, diverse and intersecting characteristics, this refers to the overlapping and unique identities and characteristics of any person, which must be thoughtfully considered when integrating GESI. These characteristics include, but are not limited to, a person's sex, gender, religion, ethnicity, location, socioeconomic status, age, ability, disability, etc. The next page is where the checklist starts. On the left side in the blue navigation panel, you will see the different stages of a project cycle. You can navigate to each of these to see a list of items for consideration or steps you can consider to take as you navigate your GESI integration journey. The 4 stages of the project cycle include Stage 1, design and planning. This is when you are first planning what your project will look like, who will be involved, and what the goal and objectives of the project are. Stage 2, implementation, has GESI considerations for when you are implementing project activities. Stage 3, M&E and reporting, is when you are developing M&E indicators to determine how you will report your data and findings in a way that is inclusive of GESI. And stage 4 is learning and reflection. This includes items for consideration when you have checkpoints during or after the project to reflect on its successes and challenges. Following the steps in the checklist can help us integrate GESI throughout the project and work towards more GESI accommodating and transformative programming. Now, when we are in the checklist, you will see that for each stage, we have items for consideration. Each item will include a title for the item for consideration, such as this one up here, followed by a description at each level of GESI unaware, the red square, GESI accommodating, the yellow square, and GESI transformative, the green square. These descriptions guide you to consider at which level your project currently is for the item and provide ideas on what to do to move to the next level. For example, from GESI unaware to GESI accommodating, or from GESI accommodating to GESI transformative. You will notice that these levels follow the GESI Continuum. However, we do not include a description for GESI exploitative because it takes advantage of GESI inequalities and inequities and makes them worse. It is harmful, therefore we do not even want to consider our programming as having that option. While GESI unaware is also not good, as it ignores and is not aware of inequalities and inequities, it is not purposefully harmful like GESI exploitative is. When going through this checklist, for each item, you will first read the title of the item for consideration for each project stage. For example, 1.1 is team composition. Second, read through the descriptions of the levels of GESI awareness for each item and begin thinking about which one of these your program falls under. Third, determine if the item is relevant to the project. We recognize that each organization and program is different, and some items may not be relevant for everyone. If the item is not relevant for your program, then you can mark no and move to the next item. Fourth, choose a level of awareness, GESI unaware, accommodating, or transformative. This is for where your project currently is regarding this item, and you will mark the level by the checkbox. Then read through the illustrative questions to contemplate different aspects of the item as it relates to your project. The illustrative questions do not require an answer, but rather are some questions to help you think about where your project falls on this spectrum. And lastly, you can use a space in this big blue box here to describe how your project addresses the item for consideration and what you can do to move closer to the next level of awareness. Now let's walk through an example. For this example, we'll be focusing on item 2.2, including diverse and disadvantaged voices in project planning. So let's first navigate to this item. It is found under Stage 1, Section 2 of Developing Project Purpose, Goals, and Design. You can click on Section 2 under Stage 1 or click on the arrows at the bottom of the navigation panel to get to the item. We will adjust the screen now to share a sample scenario from a fake organization. You will see the example scenario on the right and the tool on the left. Now, looking at the example scenario on the right side of the screen, here in white, the sample scenario says that Organization X is in the planning stages of their project. Their project aims to work with and for women across Nigeria, such as women from different faiths, women with disabilities, women from different parts of Nigeria, of different ages, and of different ethnicities. Since the team of 10 only has 2 female team members, during their first project planning meeting, they reached out to women from these different groups to share the project goal with them for their input to ensure it aligned with their needs. The team had several more discussions amongst themselves as they developed project activities before implementation. So to answer the first question, to help us determine where Organization X is for this item, let's first look at the tool and read through the red, yellow, and green squares for item 2.2 to begin to think about at which level Organization X's project falls. If you need more time to read the scenario, please pause the video here before moving on. So looking at the tool on the left side of the screen, the bottom half is dedicated to item 2.2. So reading through the red, yellow, and green squares, if the project is GESI unaware, or the red square, the project team has not incorporated any diverse and or disadvantaged voices into project planning. If the project is GESI accommodating, or falls under the yellow square, the project team consulted diverse and or disadvantaged groups, including any team members, before project proposal or work plan development to ensure the project addresses their needs. And finally, if the project is GESI transformative or falls under this green square, the team has consulted diverse and disadvantaged groups, including any team members, before project proposal development to ensure the project addresses their needs and continues to consult with the groups throughout the project planning stage until the proposal and work plan is finalized. So as we are thinking about which level Organization X is at, let's determine if this item is relevant for their project. Let us assume yes and indicate yes in the checkbox. Next, based on the scenario provided on the right side of the screen, we want to determine if item 2.2 for this project is GESI unaware, accommodating, or transformative. What did you select here? Based on the information provided in this scenario, I think Organization X's project is GESI accommodating. You may have a different answer, and that is okay. There is no correct answer, but it's important to determine where the project is and think of ways the project can move forward on the GESI Continuum. Now in the blue box, next to the illustrative questions, we can describe how this project addresses this item and what this project can do to move this toward GESI transformative. For example, if I were filling this out, I would add in the blue box that this is GESI accommodating because they have consulted some women at the start of project planning. However, they did not consult women, again, when developing activities. Now, to answer question 2, what can Organization X do to move this towards GESI transformative? I would say here that the team should consult women within the community from diverse groups after designing the activities. And based on these consultations, it may need to adapt the project activities to better meet women's needs and ensure their participation. For example, maybe childcare needs to be provided while women participate, or facilities need to be made more accessible so women with disabilities can participate. Or as in other examples, maybe activities need to be conducted in different languages so more women can understand and engage in these activities, etc., etc. So as such, when examining your own project, you can go through this entire checklist or a specific item or phase you can do to further integrate GESI. The next section after the checklist is the additional resources section. Here you can refer to and find additional resources to guide you through your GESI integration journey. This includes free GESI trainings, a link to the Foundation's GESI statement, as well as the first GESI learning brief. And the final section is a glossary, which includes all the definitions for key terms in the GESI Continuum and checklist. And there you have the GESI tool. We hope this video is a helpful reference as you use the tool for your work.